So this is Trisha, a 28-year-old investment banker in the early hours of April 19th, 1989, looking all good. But in a few hours from now, her life would take a wrong turn, and also that of other 5 black teenage boys, all in the famous city of New York. Trisha had come to the Central Park for her usual evening run, but a few hours later, she was found lying in a pool of her blood, brutally beaten and severely assaulted. Because of the excessive loss of blood and the trauma she suffered from the blows, she remained in a coma for 12 days and was hospitalized for several months. Now, while Trisha was being hospitalized and treated, the city was boiling. Everyone wanted some answers. They needed the police to make some arrests and bring the culprit to book. So, before anyone knew it, the police officers have found the boys who committed the unspeakable crime. They made a quick arrest of 5 black and Latino teenage boys: Antron McCray, Kevin Richardson, Yusef Salam, Raymond Santana, and Corey Wise. These boys, now men, are known as the Central Park 5. They were investigated, tried and found guilty of the brutal assaults committed against Trisha. But in 2002, after 7 sentences that ranged from 6 to 13 years, new DNA evidence and a confession proved that the boys were innocent of the crimes charged against them. Now, the question is, what happened? How were they investigated? What went wrong? And who is the new culprit? So, it happened that Richardson and Santana, who were both part of the Central Park 5, were arrested for unlawful assembly on the same night before the police got to know of Trisha's attack. They were detained for hours before their parents were eventually called. Trisha was found early the next morning, while the boys were still in police custody. Before you know it, the police linked the boys to the crime and also brought in Corey, Salam, and McCray for questioning. According to Salam, when they were arrested, they were deprived of food, drink, and sleep for over 24 hours and were coerced into falsely confessing to the crimes under duress. Now, despite the inconsistencies in their stories, no eyewitnesses and no DNA evidence linking them to the crime, the 5 boys were convicted in 2 trials in 1990. They spent between 6 and 13 years in jail. So it also happened that this guy, Matthias Reyes, was in the same prison facility as Corey Wise, one of the Central Park 5, for assaulting his female victims. Along the line, they both met, and Corey Wise innocently shares their story with him of how they were falsely convicted for a crime they knew nothing about. But unknown to him, Reyes was the true culprit for the crime for which the 5 boys were sentenced. So, Reyes confessed to the police that he was the one who had attacked and assaulted Trisha when he was 17 and that he had acted alone. He was able to give the police details about the attack that wasn't public knowledge, and his DNA matched with that obtained at the crime scene. It happened that Matthias had been found guilty of another assault 2 days before Trisha's incident, so no one ever suspected him in the Central Park joggers case. Because of this revelation, the charges against the 5 boys, who were now men, were vacated, and they eventually received a settlement of $41 million.